from the seeking reflex without object to the void that is the gate. Put your phone face down on the table. Don't pick it up for 10 minutes. Notice what happens in your body at around minute 2. The specific pull, not a thought exactly, more like a pressure. The hand wanting to turn over, the attention wanting to scan. The slight discomfort of the unresolved scan. Most people cannot describe this feeling because it is resolved before it has time to be noticed. The hand moves before the noticing. The phone is already in hand before the question of whether to pick it up has been asked. You are that close to the edge, that continuously. Nothing is wrong, and that is exactly the problem. No crisis, no demand. No task with the clarity of urgency. No conversation pulling you forward. No sensation bidding for your attention, just the moment, unoccupied, extending itself ahead of you into an afternoon that has no particular direction. And the specific unease that arrives in that moment, not suffering, nothing dramatic enough to be called suffering. Just the low hum of a system looking for something to process and not finding it, the hand reaching for the phone, the eyes moving to the window, the restlessness that presents itself not as pain but as itch, as the specific discomfort of a seeking mechanism with no object. This is boredom, and it contains something important. The human attention system evolved to solve problems, to scan for threats, to locate resources, to navigate social complexity, to plan. It is a problem-solving organ. Its natural state is active engagement with challenges at the edge of its capability, challenging enough to require effort, tractable enough to permit progress. When those conditions are present, the attention system generates the subjective experience called flow, full absorption, loss of time sense, the pleasant fatigue of having been fully used. When those conditions are absent, when the environment presents no challenge at the edge of capability, no problem requiring solution, the attention system does not rest, it seeks. It generates the low-grade scanning state, the restless moving of attention from one object to another, looking for a hook, for something that matches the complexity required to engage fully. It is looking for its problem. Boredom is the seeking reflex without object. The contemporary environment has solved the object problem. The phone in your pocket is an infinite supply of microstimulations, each one designed with the full resources of behavioral economics and attentional engineering to hook the seeking reflex. The feed is a perfect seeking reflex machine. Every scroll produces variable ratio reinforcement, the same schedule that makes slot machines maximally addictive, occasional rewards among more frequent non-rewards, keeping the seeking active, never quite satisfying it, always promising that the next item might be the thing. The hand moves before the decision to move. You are not choosing to be distracted. You are being steered. The seeking reflex never rests. It never runs out of stimulation. It is always, at every moment, being fed. You have not been genuinely, uncomfortably fully bored in years. You have been pre-empting it. Every time, before it can arrive. And simultaneously, the capacity to tolerate the absence of stimulation, the capacity to sit with the seeking reflex without feeding it, is atrophying, because it has been years, in many cases, since the seeking reflex was allowed to go unsatisfied for more than 30 seconds. And so the boredom, when it comes, the genuine unoccupied moment, the afternoon without direction, has become, for many people, almost intolerable. The absence of stimulation, which was once simply ordinary, has become aversive. The discomfort of the seeking reflex without object has become dread. The seeking reflex was hijacked by the most sophisticated attention engineers in history. You did not consent. You were never asked. When the phone is put down and the stimulation is removed and the seeking reflex is allowed to run without being fed, something happens. the restlessness increases. The discomfort peaks, and then, if the moment is not interrupted, there is something past the peak. A particular quality of silence, an opening, a quality of presence that the constant stimulation had been covering. This is the abyss that boredom gestures toward, not a metaphorical abyss. A specific experiential opening, the moment when the seeking reflex finds no object and briefly stops, not because it has been satisfied, but because it has exhausted the search. In that gap, something else, harder to describe. Prior to the seeking, not what the seeking finds when it succeeds. What is present when the seeking pauses? Most people leave before they reach it. The phone comes back out. The TV turns on. The restlessness is fed before it reaches the point of opening. Bhairava in the Vijnana Bhairava, dharana on the gap. Wait for it. Between the inhale and the exhale, there is a pause. In that gap, the mind vanishes and the true self shines forth. The 112 dharanas of the Vijnana Bhairava are 112 ways to catch the spanda, the divine vibration, in the textures of ordinary experience. The breath, the pleasure, the shock of fear, the gap between thoughts. Boredom is on that list, not explicitly, but structurally. The seeking reflex without object is a gap, a larger gap than the one between breaths, but structurally identical, a pause in the mind's agenda. A moment when the content that usually fills awareness has been removed and something prior to the content becomes visible. The Vijnana Bhairava calls this the Bhairava state, the fearless awareness, the consciousness that has no object and therefore is not defined by any object, not as a special achievement. As the natural state that is accessible when the seeking has exhausted itself. What Bhairava is pointing at is this: the awareness that is looking for stimulation is not itself stimulated or unstimulated. It is prior to both. It does not need an object to complete it. It is complete without any object at all. The restlessness is the awareness temporarily mistaking itself for the seeking mechanism, identifying with the reflex that runs in it rather than with what the reflex runs in. Sit with the boredom, not as spiritual discipline, as investigation. Let the seeking reflex run. Feel the restlessness. Note the specific quality of the itch. Do not feed it. Wait. The restlessness increases. Then something happens. The searching slows. The mind pauses. And in that pause, something that is not boredom and not its absence. Something that the seeking was always seeking and that cannot be found by seeking because it is the seeker. You have been calling it boredom. The Vijnana Bhairava calls it the gate. Not a metaphor, not a consolation, an instruction. The next time the afternoon opens unoccupied and the itch begins, put the phone down. Wait. The restlessness will peak. Let it peak. And wait for what comes after the peak. It has been here the whole time. Waiting. For you to get bored enough to notice